Well, we've told you in great detail how COVID-19 has devastated the economy with hundreds of thousands of jobs lost in Louisiana. That's led to unprecedented demand for unemployment benefits, and the surge has overwhelmed the system.
And now, nearly a year later, displaced workers still struggle to file their claims and receive payments. Many of you have reached out to us for help. Chief Investigative Reporter Greg LaRose has answered a lot of those calls.
You have new messages.
Sir, I have called them 1,000 times.
It takes hours and hours and hours to get through.
And when we file for our unemployment every week, it's saying in progress.
I have sent email after email.
Now, that was just a small sample of the people who've called WDSU, emailed us, just having reached their limit with trying to obtain their unemployment insurance.
I waited 6 months before I got anything, 6 months.
Louise Francis was furloughed from her hotel job in March. She's one of the many people we talked to who shared not only how hard it is to obtain jobless benefits, but how it's impacting their lives.
I'm a chronic asthma patient. I have high blood pressure. I have diabetes. There's weeks when I have to decide between buying medicine or buying groceries to feed my family.
How do you explain to your kids that you can't do this, or you can't feed them, or you can't give them birthday or Christmas presents? It breaks your heart as a mother.
Holly McGee finally got her unemployment benefits after she reached out to us, but she's in the minority among people we talked to. Most describe a frustrating cycle of days, if not weeks, spent on the phone with nothing to show for it. People say they were told it's a volume problem, too many calls and not enough people to answer them, or that they don't have the required ID to meet new fraud reduction standards.
These are all just an excuse.
Ben Zucker leads Step Up Louisiana, an economic justice group that wants officials to tackle the state's unemployment crisis.
There is money to be able to support the workers that all of that wealth was built off of their backs.
Zucker says one solution within easy reach is for the Louisiana Workforce Commission to add to its unemployment staff by hiring from the many people who are looking for jobs.
Well, you can hire all the people you want, but if you don't have a process, if you don't have that starting and finishing process, a lot of people aren't going to help you.
Rick Cuss was a contract worker for FEMA before the pandemic ended his job responding to disasters. That experience hasn't helped him as he's tried to get his benefits. He says he was told more than once his claim would be put on a VIP list.
Unfortunately, after all the times that I've been told that I was on a VIP list, there is no VIP list. I was told that from people that work there.
For 6 months, the Louisiana Workforce Commission has worked with an outside call center to handle the surge in unemployment claims. The federal government is covering the cost, which is now into the millions, but the people who need help say they're not getting through.
I wouldn't say that that is a staffing issue per se. It's not a warm body issue, if you will. It is the level of expertise and knowledge.
Ava DeJoie leads the LWC.
So I only have certain folks that are those 5-star Michelin chefs, if you will.
WDSU has looked into wait times for unemployment calls. Before the pandemic, it took 9 minutes to get through. Calls doubled in March and the wait time quadrupled to 40 minutes. By July, it reached 84 minutes, even though the number of calls fell. At the end of January, it took nearly an hour and 20 minutes to get through.
I'm constantly calling every day. You know, you have to press this number or you press that number and submit information. And then after you finish all of that, they tell you, oh, well, all of our lines are busy right now. You know, all of our representatives are on other calls. Try back later.
DeJoie says more screening has been required with each new round of benefits from the federal government. That adds to the time needed for each claim and not just time spent on the phone.
For example, the background of the identity issues that required more human intervention. We're doing those while we have people, I guess you would say, working claims. They're not on the phone working claims.
We also looked at new hires at the LWC. 57 people have been added in the unemployment section since March. But going back to last January, there's been a net loss of 22 employees across the agency. Dejoie says low pay, steady turnover, and high stress make jobs hard to fill.
I worry about the mental health of my employees, of my team members, that you hear these stories. I know what they do to me when I read them, and I know that they're hearing them every day.
You know, the bottom line is that they were overwhelmed, and still to this day, they are overwhelmed.
State Representative Matthew Willard of New Orleans says his office constantly takes calls from frustrated constituents trying to file for unemployment.
10 months is enough time to figure out some of the wrinkles and better streamline the process.
Willard proposed sort of a preventative measure, a work-share program that would use federal money to help companies avoid layoffs. But it died in the state Senate when Dejoie opposed it. She argued her agency didn't have the staff to support it, and some lawmakers feared the state unemployment trust fund couldn't cover the cost.
If a work-share program is putting too much stress on the fund, then the layoffs and furloughs that would result anyway would be even worse.
Gabby Bolden Shaw lost her job as a union organizer last spring. She now works with Step Up Louisiana and says state leaders need to find a solution as soon as possible.
Our homeless population is going to skyrocket. It's going to be a mess. We think the pandemic is a mess. Watch and see what the after effects is going to be. It's going to be terrible.
Payroll taxes and federal money usually pay the cost of Louisiana's unemployment program, and in years when the economy's good, that's enough. But this year, Ava Dejoie says she might have to turn to lawmakers to help cover what's likely going to be an ongoing cost until the pandemic's under control. For WDSU Investigates, I'm Greg LaRose.
Certainly not the end of that. Investigative reporter Emily Lane has compiled much more information about the obstacles to file for unemployment benefits.
And you can find this on our website, WDSU.com, and also on our smartphone app.